Hello, and a big welcome to the Move, Rest, Live podcast. I'm your co-host, Menna Olvera, and with me is Carlos Leon. Together, we are the proud co-founders of the Leon House. We're thrilled to be on this journey with you as we learn from our guests about all things fitness, wellness, and lifestyle, furthering our goals of movement and rest in our lives to empower us to truly live. Let's get going.
Hey, it's Carlos Leon
And Menna Olvera.
Welcome to the Move, Rest, Live podcast. And today we are with Alex Badia.
Badia.
There you go. He started his career at the Daily News Record in 1999.
You got it.
In 2001, he left to work at the Oprah magazine for a year before returning to DNR.
It's the Men's of Women's Wear Daily. You can call it Women's Wear Daily though. It's Women's Wear Daily.
Amazing. And Alex was educated, he's originally from Barcelona, Spain. He earned his BBA degree from the European University in Paris and Geneva, and earned an MBS from the University of London. In 1996, he moved to New York to study buying and merchandising at the Fashion Institute of Technology. And he's currently residing in New York, right?
I never finished that degree because I got headhunted by Women's Wear.
Wow.
In 1999, yeah.
How long were you in the education process?
A year and a half. Yeah. But New York was different then. You know, I met someone at Bowery Bar who had heard of me. So 2 days later, I went and I met a big editor there who thought I had something special and they created a job for me. So those were the days, I suppose.
When you say somebody heard of you, was it like a job that you did, or what were you doing?
I was very opinionated. I was very forward, and I was introduced to someone that worked at Women's Wear, and he said, I heard about you. Then we spoke, and then I was set up an interview, and I got a job.
Wow.
It was really sort of remarkable.
Like meant serendipitous almost.
In a way, yeah, totally.
So how long have you been there now?
I mean, I left when O Magazine launched to work for Oprah Magazine because I thought, I was European and I thought there's nothing more American than Oprah Winfrey. And I wanted the full experience. So I went for it because, at that time I was just like, doing ecstasy and shopping. Right. That's what I came to New York for, to have a good time. I had a boyfriend that I was totally in love. I just wanted to have a good time. So, I thought that was kind of fun. I would like to be back at that. I try to just do things because it's fun. And I thought it would be fun to work for Oprah Magazine.
Did you meet your boyfriend here?
Yeah, I met him here at the Roxy.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, we met at the Roxy. And that night we went to Twilo. Oh, wow. And we kissed at Twilo.
Twilo.
And then we went home.
90s.
And the day after, he said, do you have any plans? And I said no. So we went for brunch at Viceroy in Chelsea. And then he took me to Barney's and showed me Barney's. And then he took me to Patricia Fields.
Oh, wow. That
was our first basic date the day after we hooked up. And then when we were at Patricia Fields, I thought, this is the man of my life, If someone shows you Barney's and Patricia Fields the day after you hooked up and you spend the night together and you don't know him at all, it's basically like, wow, this is destiny.
It's fabulous.
It's fabulous.
Yes.
I didn't really know back then, but it was fabulous. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, we've been with you now for a year when you started trying to pull the Leon House out.
Totally.
So you heard about us through Patrick.
Right. Yes.
And what did you think the first time you came?
I thought that it was smart to combine working out physically with working out mentally, because I always felt very strong inside, and I wanted to have my inside feeling of a warrior to match my outside exterior, and the look of my body I wanted to reflect the strength that I feel inside. And I felt at times that I needed to be stronger inside, so I needed to be stronger outside. It's about strength and resilience for me. Yeah. Although for you, Menna, it's about flexibility, I suppose, and
not necessarily.
You know what I mean? I think that you measure, what I meant to say is that you measure strength differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I'm trying to learn from you.
Yeah.
And Carlos feels like I'm hanging out with myself most of the time.
Right. We have a good talk.
Yeah,
we're having a good workout.
I also don't like pussy ass gyms, like sparkly pussy gyms. I don't like.
Yeah.
I am part of Equinox because my husband bought me a membership, but I don't like that kind of glossy environment. I feel that I like gritty and I like something that feels more realistic. And I remember when you showed me the gym for the first time, you said, Debbie Barton lives next door.
Yeah.
And he sunbathed in this patio. Yeah. And I don't know if you said Speedo. Naked or not.
No, Speedo.
Speedo. And I thought, that's a sign for me of something. Not because I want to blow Debbie Barton. It's because I think that represents a kind of New York that I grew up in and that I'm attracted to.
So I don't know, like what exactly, I mean, I know you wear many hats and we love that. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite thing? What are you most passionate about?
You're talking about my job, I assume, right?
Everything.
What do I like the most? Obviously, my job is become my identity for some by default. I don't know why. I just felt that I always wanted to. This is so weird talking about me like that. So, I mean, I'm an egocentric person, but when I saw in display, it's kind of like overwhelming. But what do I like the most? I like the most to be able to look around me every day and try to absorb all the information from the people, the music, the cinema, whatever is around me, and then how that translates into stories, into kind of like trying to understand why people are wearing what they're wearing, why are they working with specific photographers, why specific models are working so much, to try to understand the psychology behind it and try to put that back into the universe through stories that might have a positive impact. The freedom to do that is what I love the most, and my job allows me to do that after all these years.
So for people who don't know who you are and that are just getting to know you, can you just give us a little pitch on exactly what it is that you do? Yes,
I am an old school editor. I'm an old school fashion director, to be honest. I work for Women's Wear Daily, that is a newspaper of record of the fashion industry, 120 years old.
It's the Bible.
It's the Bible. Thank you, Carlos.
Yeah.
And we are owned by PMC. Penske is a kind of a young, new publishing house in comparison to Condé and Hearst. It's owned by Jay Penske, and we own many titles from Rolling Stone to Variety to The Hollywood Reporter to Deadline to Rock Report, Women's Wear, you name it, Billboard. We also own the Golden Globes and a lot of awards, South by Southwest, a lot of experiences in terms of concerts and festivals. And I am I'm the fashion director of Women's Wear, but I'm also at large at Rolling Stone.
Which is affiliated, right?
It's owned by the same company.
Okay.
So in a way, I am the group fashion director, but it's not official. It's just an internal title because I am based at Women's Wear. I contribute on a regular basis for Rolling Stone and the Rock Report and Variety. Those are my main titles because I like having a foot in fashion, in music, and in movies.
Wow. To
understand the whole picture, to be honest, to bring it back to Women's Wear and to be able to interview a designer and be very insightful on their choices and to understand why Dior is hiring Blackpink as their ambassadors. I understand exactly what they're trying to achieve because I have the inside track, basically.
Would you say in a way you're a visionary?
I don't know. I like following visionaries closely. I like interviewing visionaries closely. My main love right now is to understand the human side of the fashion designers, the creative directors, and everybody that is creating images that are defining popular culture. I want to get, because it's very clear what's happening in terms of their output, but right now, understanding their human side really allows you to go beyond.
Mm. So you're constantly looking, obviously, for inspiration, not only in fashion, but in music and
totally
art,
everything,
and everything.
Everything.
Which is, really pioneering, like, to the next level. different artists.
I just think that when it comes to content creation, right now you cannot stay in one lane. You cannot just do one thing. Otherwise, your outcome feels very one dimension, and then soon you're gonna lose your chair in this game of chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to stay ahead of the game in order to survive.
Is it true what they say, like in the Devil Wears Prada, like you're only as good as your last job? Like you have to be ahead of it.
I think you're as good as your last story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I remember when I've learned so much from my 20-something years of women's wear and the access and the experiences. I remember talking to Tom Ford at the party of his last Gucci show that night. Maybe he had a couple of drinks and so did I. And I remember he said, I'm gonna be forgotten in 6 months. And I thought, he felt to me he was the king of the world at that moment. And I said, Tom, that's impossible. You will be remembered forever. You'll be able to do whatever you want. And he said, Alex, just remember this, 6 months, they'll forget about me. And he was right, but then he turned around and created Tom Ford.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But people forget so quickly.
Yeah. It's crazy, and they remember the bad things instead of the good things. You could have done 30 great things and then 3 bad things. You know what I mean? They remember the losses, not the wins, the W's, as we say.
I think that like one of the things that I've learned from social media is understand human nature, and I think that it is very depressing to think that way, but it's very clear that part of being human is being negative, you know, to be that hateful hater, you know, that we see in social media. But you need to just, I mean, it's part of life. You know, it sucks, but it's the truth.
How do you face the haters on your social media? Do you process it?
I block them.
Sorry. Is that what you do?
No, I don't block them. I mean, to be honest with you,
Do you mute them?
I want to be worshipped. I think we all want to be worshipped, but I try not to pay attention. Lately, I have been able, I think getting older sucks, but the one thing that maybe is more interesting is that I'm starting to understand that it's not my issue, it's their issue. I'm starting to see that it's not me, it's them that are suffering.
Yeah.
So I sort of have been able to develop a level of compassion that I cannot really keep it forever, but
Do you get much haters though?
I do.
Okay.
You do. I mean, especially sometimes you get someone who becomes really obsessed, who starts insulting you nonstop.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me, like when I was going through the teenage years, she used to be like, Mija, don't try and please everybody and make everybody like you, because the truth is, it's not everybody's gonna like you.
Right.
So if you can accept those people that just don't like you for whatever reason, then it doesn't stick with you. It's like water off the duck's butt.
Right.
I think it's very difficult. I was extremely bullied as a child. I grew up in Barcelona in an all-boys school, and I was just so fucking different, you know?
Yeah.
I just never wanted to fit in. I felt very much I needed to get out. I felt that we had nothing in common, and I created this environment in which I was very much like not part of it. And kids can tell, so they went after me hardcore. But I do think that I have to be very careful because there's triggers. And then I think that sometimes if I'm not very conscious, I get triggered, you know? And then you feel very insecure, and then you feel that you're worthless. So you always have to be very much working out your mind and your soul and your self-esteem not to go back in that dark hole.
To that little boy.
Right.
Well,
and it does. I mean, I think it's fun. You know?
Do you have a go-to that you do when you go there? Like something that you do to snap yourself out of it?
Right. Yes. It's just basically, I always visualize me driving a car and the different passengers that are trying to take the wheel. And at times, I realize that, oh my God, I'm not driving the car. They took the car. And then I am basically like, I'm going to be super nice and be very kind and say, whoever is driving the car, this is really sweet, but you need to go back to the passenger seat because I am the one who's driving. So that has been very effective to me when I realized that I am not driving the car. So I'm like, no. For many years, I let freaks within my head drive the car at crazy speeds and dangerous situations. I'm not going to let that happen anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't have another director directing your life.
No, you can't.
You're the only director.
Oh, of course. And also, it's like, if you're going to go that direction, yeah, I can be a little bitch. You know, no problem.
I think we all have a little bit of that in us.
Yeah, of
don't
course.
we?
Yeah.
But your grit, like coming up the fashion ladder, what's one thing that you like remember from your early days? Like something that you learned early on?
I think that, like, again, one of my first interviews was with Calvin Klein. I went with Patrick McCarthy, and Calvin was showing a men's collection. I started in menswear, my career, and he was showing a men's collection in New York. We went to see a preview, and Patrick McCarthy was the Anna Wintour of our company, equally as powerful back then as she was and she is. And I remember, he's like, "Do you have any questions?" And I remember, it was so embarrassing. I said, "What is the secret of your success?" And then I remember someone just like sort of laughed, you know, because it was such a, genuine, but such a naive question. And then he said, no, let the kid ask the question. And then he said, you just need two things. He said, you need to repeat yourself over and over and over and over. Be true to yourself. But the main thing I can tell you is just stick around. Stick around. If you're able to stick around, you'll make it. And then for some reason, that was so important as a guide to me that I thought, I just need to stick around. What do I need to do to stick around? At times I thought, I just need to keep my head down and I need to work. I need to let people be abusive or put up with things in retrospect I should not have. But there was a lot of abuse back then at that time, and I just put up with it. And just because I kept my head down, I worked really hard, and I was insatiable. I was very hardworking, and I basically just stuck around, and I'm still here, and I'm like still working, and sometimes I have to keep my head down.
Did you always know you wanted to end up where you are now? Or did it kind of reveal itself as you were making your way at women's wear?
I just knew it was going to be something special. I just knew that it was going to be magical somehow, because I knew I was gay. I knew that I had to make so many sacrifices, not only because I was gay, it's because I really felt so different from my family. And the way I felt, and my family, so Republican, so conservative, I love them. They're lovely people, but we don't have that many things in common. Right. So I just felt that I had to leave. It was a life, my parents had money. It was a very comfortable life that I left. And I thought, I just don't want to, I don't want to, what was the question?
You didn't want to live their life. You wanted to live your own life.
I didn't want to live their lives. I wanted to live my own life. I just wanted to do, like, you know, faith. And then I just sensed that something magical could happen if I really just didn't let anyone tell me what I had to do.
So you had strong belief in your vision. In whatever it was, you had belief in yourself. So whatever it was, you knew that you didn't want to do that. Stay.
I knew exactly. I didn't know exactly what I wanted. I knew exactly what I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have their life. I didn't want to compromise. I just knew that I felt magic inside. And I knew what I had to do to take it out. I am in the process of discovery, to be honest. Yes. It's a never-ending process. Yeah. I feel the magic is still unfolding in front of me.
I feel the magic.
You know?
Feel the magic?
I feel the magic also, yeah. Especially sometimes as a boy in Speedo, that's magic too. There's many magics happening, you know? Mm-hmm.
So we have a segment called Balance Buzz, and we like to see how people get their buzz on.
Yeah.
So we want to know some of your rituals that you do. Do you do any morning rituals or nighttime rituals that you would share?
Yeah. I wake up and I'm not a morning person. My husband is a big morning person. He's always done 1,000 things when I yell his name. So I yell his name, and then he comes with a decaf coffee, because I don't like waking up sharp. I need to graduate into the living. So he brings me a decaf coffee, and then he sits in the bed, and then I make him pay the toll that is coming back into bed, and then we kiss for a little bit because I need affection. And he does too, although he didn't know it at the beginning, but he does. So
all men do, and all men don't know that.
Yeah,
that
I
affection,
give him
right?
kisses and hugs every morning and whatever. And then I just listen to him because he's a talking machine. He just talks so much in the mornings. So I just listen.
I'm that way sometimes.
Forever, I thought, what a luck I have that I have a prince that brings me coffee to bed every morning. And then years later, I realized he wanted an audience to listen to him. That's why he brought me the coffee, to wake me up and listen to him. But no, I have to tell you, for everything I have, the luckiest and the most fortunate thing I feel is my husband, to be able to, it's not easy to have a relationship for so many years, but I have been able to build, I think it's beyond a home. I have been able to build a palace by constant work and, and like commitment and like communication and understanding. Menna, you've been in a super long-term relationship too.
Yeah.
So,
but even in friendships, I mean, Carlos and I have been friends for over 25 years, and we've had our ups and our downs.
It happens all the time.
You have to come back from it and
totally
be yourself and accept the other person. Be open to receive their side of whatever the situation is.
I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, I'm a Leo, so it's always fucking about me.
Oh my God.
Even if it's like a subtle manipulation, people don't know that I manipulate. I keep it very
do. I mean, you're very good at that. Carlos, where are you?
I'm right here staring at this whole, listening to this whole conversation. Wow. I'm like, she's right.
She's right. What is your horoscope?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so I'm sensitive. I listen a lot, but it's really about me as well.
Totally.
I'm caring.
You're very caring. You can see it.
He's funny.
Yeah.
I wish people would know that more.
They would know that.
Yeah.
But Alex, so when you travel, I know you travel a lot. So how do you travel and stay healthy and grounded? When you travel, how do you stay healthy and grounded?
This is very difficult. I think one of my main obsessions and work demands is to travel basically once, twice a month to Europe or back on location, the West Coast. And also, for me, it's not only traveling, it's travel to stressful situations. You travel to runway shows, to fashion weeks in which you are put under a microscope and there is a lot of media attention. And also you go to shoots, you're with celebrities and publicists. So I travel to stress zones. And a lot of the times I try to monitor my drinking. I try to work out as much as I can. I keep on journaling every morning. For me, journaling is very important. I have not been meditating, but now, and I should. But in the past, I have meditated a lot, especially in very difficult moments. And at times, I like. It's very important to me that I have friends in different cities, and I escape. I go back to a friend's house, and we just have a glass of wine and just hug and talk. And I just like the idea of being around a comfort, positive, loving environment, because fashion and entertainment and famous people it's not really the most coziest of environments.
Yeah.
So I try to always, at least once a day, do something for me that really makes me happy. It could be a grilled cheese sandwich, or it could be smoking a joint with a friend of mine, or
something that's just real.
Right, or just like, I don't know. Sometimes I really like going on YouTube and watch all Greta Garbo interviews, TV interviews. I like watching all movie star interviews. And I listen, guys, you can Google and go to YouTube, they are all there. And it really, sometimes I just like sitting in the car. I have become best friends with my drivers. I've been having my drivers for 20 years. It sounds so, oh my God, he's a driver. Not really. It's someone who drives you to shows. Yeah. Otherwise you don't make it. And Gerard and they are they're part of my family. Like when my dad died, my mother died, I was like crying in the backseat. It's just really, I have developed a family over all these years. And Francesco also in Milan is super close to me. He's been my driver for 20 years. And, you know, we talk for holidays and Christmas and birthdays. So you need to develop a support system. And if you really, and I do think that we can all do that. You don't have to only be with your best friends. There's people around you that they might become your family. They're right there, you know?
Right. And you never know who your soul is meant to meet.
That's right. Soulmates.
You know? Soulmates.
Totally.
And it's not necessarily romance, just a friendship, right? Like someone cool that you're like, oh my God, I feel like I've known you my whole life and I just met
you.
you.
Get along with them. Just people that you like.
Same vibration.
I think that, like, in my mind, I like what you just said about the vibration. If you turn off your brain, for me it's easy because there's not much there, but like if you turn off your brain and you just open your spirit and you let your spirit guide you, it sounds so crazy what I'm saying, you instantly recognize each other.
Yeah.
You recognize the people that are there and they're there for a reason somehow.
Yeah.
And then you just connect. And that's what I've been doing, and that's been my survival tool among all these crazy people, to be honest.
What was your aha moment when you were like, I made it?
Oh, I never had that yet.
You never?
No, I don't think so. I haven't had the aha moment. One thing that I have been struggling with is sense of accomplishment. I always feel that nothing is enough, and it's a big thing that I'm working on myself. I mean, it's like trying to understand that I have accomplished whatever I wanted, and I don't know. I just don't feel a sense of accomplishment. I always feel that it's not an imposter syndrome. It's just I feel that there's so much more that I want to do. There's so much more I want to share, and so many stories I want to tell that I feel that I am not there yet at all.
Right. You got some time, right? You got some things you have to finish.
Right. I just finished, Carlos. I have so many things I have to start.
Right.
I mean, it's just like I feel like. You feel the same way to me.
Of course.
You guys do. I mean, I feel that I don't ever look back. I don't like that. I have a sense of melancholic when I listen to 90s music or 80s music, but that's a different thing. That's when you just want to have fast food for the brain, but or for the soul, you know?
Yeah, of course.
When you listen to nostalgia. It's for me, nostalgia is like fast food for the soul when you need to, no? The French fry, but I just I just think that most of the times I don't look back. It's a waste of time.
Yeah,
you know.
Agree.
Yeah.
I want to look forward. It's not even forward.
Romanticize the future instead of the past.
See the future.
Yeah,
the future.
I am very intrigued by. It's not the quotes from Instagrams because those are so annoying, but I do think that I just like the idea of manifesting my life, you know?
Yeah.
How
do you manifest in your life? What is your process?
My process, a lot of it is journaling, is visualizing. It's my problem is that once you see it and you're writing it, it comes at you at such a speed that I get afraid and I basically hang up the phone, you know, I no, I was kidding.
You hang up on God?
Yeah. And then I'm like, no, my process is not being able to accept what comes to me quickly. And that's my process. I delay it because I feel that I'm not ready. It's fear, you know, it's about me managing my own fear. You know, it's a pain in the ass. I think you guys can be very successful, both of you. And I see it on you probably much more than you see it yourself. You know?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing about fear is false evidence appearing real.
Totally.
And that's, a fact.
You know what they say that like a tiny percentage of your fears actually happen. Mm. None of it happens.
Right.
It's all in your head.
It's all in your head.
It's like the placebo effect. We talked about this, you and I met it the other day.
Since the 90s.
Yeah. Placebo is such a dirty word.
Isn't it?
Placebo.
Or erogenous.
Yeah, totally.
Amazing.
So let's circle back to the 80s and the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
We're people of the 90s.
I have a suspicion, yeah.
And I'm just curious, is the 90s style really coming back?
Oh, we're going to talk about shop?
Can we talk shop? Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about the 90s. Okay. If we could talk about the 90s, we talk about the aughts. I mean, it's very clear that there is a reintroduction of the 90s to Gen Zs. The poor kids they don't know much about the 90s. They're learning a ton, but there is that kind of like aesthetic and fashion and revival of the 90s that is hitting really hard right now. So you see it with like the cargo pant, for example, or the slouchy denim. Things are very sort of like stupid. Oversized.
Because will make you.
Like boxy suiting. It's all there. I mean, it's funny when I had this theory that if you were there for the first time around, you shouldn't be wearing it the second time around. But I'm breaking every rule because I just bought cargo pants today. So, so I just think, yes, the 90s are definitely coming back. I do think the 90s culture, 90s music is coming back. I do think that I interviewed Frida Giannini, that is the prior creative director of Gucci before Alessandro Michele. I interviewed her for a book that she did about music and fashion, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And she just wrote a very condensed summary of the evolution of culture and context. And she did it in such an educational way because she understood the Gen Zs don't really know about history. And for them to understand why things are happening, what's coming, they need to understand the context they started with initially. So the 90s are very relevant right now. The odds are super relevant. You can see it in the revival of Beckham, the documentary. You see it even when everything when you look at, for example, Victoria Beckham and David Beckham and the outfits and the fashion, and then all that moment, it's huge again.
Yeah, Robbie Williams.
Totally. Yeah. So the revival of the documentary, the idea of education in TikTok is humongous right now, for example, because they need to, they're clearly getting it, that in order for them to really be the best of whatever it's happening, now they need to go to the source. And there's the 90s, you need to study that. You know?
It's even like Tommy Hilfiger made a big comeback, right?
Totally.
From the 90s, and then died out a little bit, and then boom, and now again everyone wants to wear Tommy.
Or Ed Hardy.
Yeah, like all that element of like premium Van Dutch, all those moments are having a big moment. I mean, it's really funny because for us is not that exciting.
No.
But for them I do think it's a sign of a lack of inclusivity and diversion, because if we keep on playing with the same references, we are only gonna reproduce what already existed. I do think that we need to let new people play the game in order to create things that are not referential.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, I mean, if we allowed African designers to be at the forefront, or any other type of Latino designers or South American designers to bring their own, I'm talking about fashion here, to bring their own view, they will create things that have never been seen because historically they've never been given the platform. So for sure we'll see something different. So yes, I love nostalgia 90s and aughts, but for me it's really boring. You know, because
and they're done that.
Let's get more creative.
I mean, low-rise denim, really?
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
I don't care. I mean, it's great crop tops and all, but I mean, and yeah, the queer culture influencing mass fashion. I love it, but I want to see other things, and I do love it. I love queer culture. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a tank top, a sheer. I love it.
Or I can't say it anymore though.
Yeah. The
tank tops.
The tank tops. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, again, it's kind of funny, but it's, when you watch Gwen Stefani, no doubt, you're like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And totally.
My favorite, with my bright red lips.
Yes, absolutely. But it's like all the like the big parachute cargo.
I love those. I have a pair of bright pink.
Yes, great. And then the bright orange crop top.
Don't need the crop top. I'm 50.
You can do whatever you want. I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. Age-appropriate dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a thing, or do we make it a thing?
I am not interested in established rules from people I don't respect. Because I don't respect the way I was raised. I don't respect the fact that I don't respect the societal rules of how things should be. If I don't respect that, I don't think that anything that comes to me from that kind of people, I don't want it. I don't want their idea of what's respectable for a woman, because those people are the same people that are saying that me as a gay man, shouldn't be having the same rights as a straight man. I don't think that you should not be fulfilled as a woman unless you have a child. All these things, you're not successful unless you're married. All this bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same people telling you that as a woman of certain age, you shouldn't be wearing a crop top.
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck about what those people think.
Yeah.
I just don't care. I just think that it's up to us, our generation, to redefine what really the truth is for us. And because nothing that was given to us is true to me. Because I don't really care. I'm not young, I'm not old, but I'm obviously not doing at all what my dad did. And I loved my dad with all my heart, but I don't want to be him at all.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to be an influencer?
Yes, you are.
But you are.
I am an accidental influencer. I'll tell you really quickly. I don't know how much time we have. When I was I was going to all the shows, and I was a cool editor. Our idea was we're gonna sell it. We're not gonna buy it. So we're not gonna dress up. We're gonna only wear jeans and t-shirts, and we're gonna act like we don't give a fuck. That was what being an editor meant. You wear glasses, you smoke cigarettes, you don't care.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, street style photographers came into the play, and I saw a couple of people starting dressing up like crazy and gaining a lot of popularity, and their careers advancing tremendously. And I thought, one thing I know how to do is to create a character, because I have done this a million times. So I just created a character, and I did it out of survival skills because I was afraid. I thought, in order for me to survive, I need to advance to the next level. And if that means creating a character and dressing differently, and I'm a monkey sometimes, and tell the stories through the way I dress, I'm gonna do it. And that was 2012, 2013. It was early days Instagram, and I just went for it. And I got so much hate for the American editors, especially. People made fun of me. Oh, look, Alex is dressing up, blah, blah, blah. None of them have jobs now. And I'm not saying that I was right, but I knew it really bothered me having to do that. But I knew that I would be able to do it very well, and I did it, and it worked.
And you had to take it to the next level. Like, you couldn't stay at one level.
You got it.
You had to take it to the next level, and that...
Yeah, but Pussycat, the thing is just it's like an amusement park. You stop riding the ride, you know? You need to ride the ride.
Yeah.
I mean, do I want to dress like all in like a huge coat and a leather pant and a high heel boot on a Sunday at 9 a.m. going to shows in Paris? Fuck no. I want to cry and hug my cat. That's what I want to do,
right.
You know?
Sure.
But I have to do it.
Kind of reminds me of, that story kind of reminds me of Who Moved My Cheese, right? Like you saw like the cheese being moved by these influencers on Instagram, and you had a choice. You can either pivot and go where it's and see it, or you're stuck and your cheese dries out and then you're left with nothing.
Right. I also knew that I could move the cheese so far away. I knew I could do this so well.
Yeah.
I just knew it.
And you didn't want to pass the cheese, though.
No cheese. I fucking love cheese. Manchego cheese is the
My
best.
favorite.
Of
It's
course.
everyone's favorite.
Oh, girl.
That and halloumi.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for someone who's trying to build their Instagram character?
I mean, there is the logistical element of it, of like, you need to post on your stories every day. At the same time, you need to post on your main feed at least 3 or 4 times a week. You need to do reels. Obviously, TikTok is huge. You need to be in TikTok as much as you can. But then don't listen and what people are telling you about who you should be and don't think that, oh, there's so many influencers. There is always room for talent. There is always room for you. Always. I mean, don't look to other people. Just look within. And if you were like with your best friend, how would you be? So most of the times I'm just like, I just feel that I'm alone and I'm just like, go for it. It takes a lot of courage at times, but I know that no one is me, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Was there anybody that you looked up to whose path ahead of you kind of emulated? You know, sometimes they say like, pick somebody that you want to do and be what they are and follow their path. Did you do that at all or no?
I looked for a lot of people like that. I took different things from different people, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't really feel that there is anyone right now, and it's bothersome, to be honest, that I want to be like. You know, I just think there's different things from different people that I like. There is no path like the path I want for me. You know?
And that's a beautiful way to end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Killing your icons.
Killing my icons.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, thank you.
It's
It was
been a
just such
pleasure
an honor,
getting to know
Alex.
you.
It was so fun. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Grace
Bye,
and
guys.
gratitude.
Yes.
Lots of love and God bless. Move, rest, and live.
Thanks for listening, guys. Check us out online at our website, theoleonhouse.com, or Instagram, Facebook, and let us know what you're thinking. This podcast and any related content distributed on behalf of the Oleon House, Menna Olvera or Carlos Leon, is meant for information, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Any information or opinions expressed within are not meant to replace medical advice or meant to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury. You should consult a healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health.